A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
Welcome one and all to the Venom Truck Series live on Turn 200, and it's only the second time in series history, and I think maybe the third or fourth time on the channel, we get to feature iRacing Super Speedway. It's going to be a blast here tonight. Glad that you're hanging out with us here tonight for Zittel's High-Banked Birthday Bash at iRacing Super Speedway. My name is Tommy Cook. I've got the action for you here tonight, and we've got a special guest up here in the booth. Plans have changed a little bit, but the one thing that did not change was that Nathan Carroll is going to be hanging out with us here tonight. Nathan Carroll, fixture on the Thursday night circuit with the Max v CNC Home Design Truck Series. I think still second in the points after Atlanta last week. Either way, he's up there. He's up there every week, and now he's up in booth 200. Welcome aboard, partner. How we doing?
Doing good, Tommy. Excited to be here and be in booth turn. Wow, turn 200 booth with you.
There you go.
I'm a driver. I'm not. It's new to the broadcasting thing, so.
That's all right. We've got some exciting racing here tonight, and we've got a little bit of something extra going on. If you notice, we didn't beckon Matt Williamson in yet, but we're going to do that right now, as Matt Williamson is in booth 200 with us. Now, I will say, the original plan for tonight was for it to be me versus Matt, along with everybody else that was out there on the track. We were going to turn Nathan Carroll loose in the booth up here with another gentleman. Unfortunately, that gentleman had some family issues going on, was not able to attend tonight. So what this means is it is now Team 200, which is Rob Williams, Jack Watts, Pascal Simard, and RJ Starcevic versus Matt Williamson for total control of Turn 200. Is that right? Is that what we're playing for tonight?
Yeah, that's it. It's a 4-on-1 handicap match for me to take control of the team for next season as you and I transition into the driving portion of our careers here in the Venom Truck Series. So that would be pretty cool to do, but it's going to take a lot. We got a couple of pretty good super speedway racers in our stable of drivers, so it'll be a tough task tonight.
We'll keep you on the line here for just a second. We'll turn you loose to drive it in a minute. But, you know, you and I have probably had more experience at iRacing Super Speedway than, dare I say, 95% of the drivers in this field. This is only the second time the Venom Truck Series has been to Venom in a points-paying capacity. We also have had a couple of all-star races here. But you and I have made many a lap around this super high-banked fictional super speedway. I mean, what does it take to, say, fend off 4 of my best drivers this evening? Or, the other 31 that'll be out there racing with you.
Yeah, I mean, I view every super speedway race pretty much as a chess match, and this one's just a little different. This is, I don't know, you could call it a checkers match, I guess. It's just different than all of the others. You got to really know when to time the runs. You got to know when to kind of get out of the pack, too, because if something happens here, chances are you are probably going to get caught up in it, as folks will go up and down the high banks here with a lot of speed very quickly. So, I mean, it's a little bit more difficult here for me to kind of keep the truck clean. I think that's first and foremost goal number 1, but the kind of runs that you get are much different here than, say, at a Talladega or Daytona. So you just gotta know how to prepare for those.
You certainly do. I'll build you up and say that I think you're one of, if not the best super speedway racer in this race tonight, and there are some heavy hitters in the Venom Truck Series. But I'm going to bring you back down to earth by saying last time we saw you here on the channel, you did not qualify for the Venom Truck Series All-Star race out of the All-Star Open. In fact, you got beat by a 6-year-old. So best of luck to you. And as much as I'm rooting for you, I'm also rooting against you because I want to keep my position of power. So good luck. We'll hope to talk to you again at the end of the race, hopefully not before.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, if it's before, then we've had problems.
Definitely. All right, Nathan, we'll bring you back into focus here. Actually, let's take a quick look at the point standings here. Matt Schlosser, with his 3rd win of the season, 2nd win in a row, continues to pull out. He's now in triple digits above the cut line. No positions change inside the top 6. A little bit of shuffling from 7th on down, and a little bit of shuffling still below that cutoff line. Garrett Rainey is now onto the graphic as well. Nathan, you've been keeping your eye on practice. You made a few laps out here as the Ghost car. This is a wonky experience, is it not? I mean, this is not your traditional super speedway like Matt was alluding to.
Definitely isn't. The entry into the corners, the transition from the straightaway banking to the corners is wonky, as you said. There's kind of a, Matt was saying you got to kind of turn the wheel straight when you go into the corner, which is the opposite of what you do at any super speedway or any track really in general. So it'll be a battle drivers trying to figure it out, and it's kind of hot and slick here too. So I don't think tire wear will be much of a factor, but they do heat up, and that could create some ill handling trucks.
Well, ill handling might be the word of the night. As you said, it's going to be a challenging night here for Zittel's high-banked birthday bash at iRacing Super Speedway. This is how they will roll to the starting grid. Andy Ducato, our most recent Super Speedway winner, will grab his Tectate pole for the very first time in his VTS career, and he will lead the field of green with Josh Freed, podium finisher from last week, starting to his outside. Brady Gunter and Matt Schlosser always at the front of the fields here on the Super Speedways. They line up on row number 2. It is Garrett Rainey and one of the Turn 200 hopefuls, Jack Watts, hoping to dethrone Matt Williamson here this evening. Watts, top 10 last week, will start on the outside of row number 3. Row number 4 on the inside is Frank Sirachi. Good morning to Frank, and hello to Joshua Rutherford, who will start in the 8th position. He's got a runner-up here in the ASRL Sunday Oval Series. Row 5 then is Matt Williamson on the inside of Jeremy McKinnon, always the odds-on favorite to pull it in victory lane at the end of the Super Speedway races. And if it's not McKinnon, then it'll be Kyle Zittel or Steve Vroman. That is quite the pairing there, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Zittel and Vroman on row number 6. Jordan Journeau and Chad Stearns on row 7. It is Andy Poliski and RJ Starcevic on row 8. John Kay and Gary Clark on row 9. Zach Lockett and Brian Mitchell in the 10th row. Rob Williams, Brantley Gainey, Josh Jackson, Cade Cannon, Lucas Carver, Corey Rutherford, Hayden Palumbo, Joshua Matacek, Cole Maxwell, Mark Ossier, Austin Holyfield, and Tyler Burkert. Had to kind of speed through that as all my stuff got messed up there because they gridded very, very quickly. But as the drivers begin to pace their way around the iRacing Super Speedway, let's take a look at the weather conditions. Like you alluded to, it is a red-hot mama out there. And 110 degrees. Had to hide the series logo there. But what are these drivers up against here tonight? What is some of the strategy that these drivers will be facing?
Hard to say in a super speedway. There could be a lot of yellows, not a lot of yellows, but they're probably going to base the strategy off that. There are 3 sets of tires in the pits if the drivers do elect to make tire changes. Maybe you'll see on a green flag stop, even a yellow stop, just take 2 right sides. Just going to depend how the tire's wearing and how hot they get throughout the race.
I think the big thing to keep in mind here, the staple of the Venom Truck Series, as it is most leagues on Turn 200, no fast repairs. And with the hyper speeds that these trucks realize here at iRacing Superspeedway, anytime you're in an accident, you are in for a world of hurt. It's going to happen very, very quickly, no matter where you are in this field. Andy Ducato and Josh Freed at the front of the line. They will lead the field into turn number 1. We're green at iRacing Superspeedway.
The Josh Freed got to sneak out a little bit, and Ducato on the bottom starting to pull that inside line along. Top line falling back a little bit. Jack Watts is trying to get himself clear of the top. He's up to 4th place already.
It's so funny, I would imagine, transitioning from racing at Atlanta Superspeedway last Thursday to watching the race here tonight. I mean, 2 superspeedways, I guess, if you want to call Atlanta a superspeedway, but could not possibly be more different. There are about 6 lanes to work with here.
Yeah, Atlanta's a lot more confined space. Very difficult to put it 3 wide, especially on the straightaways. Maybe in the corners. This track's kind of the opposite. Got a lot of room to work with in the corners. You could probably go 3 wide on a straightaway, but it's not going to work as you go into corner entry.
So Ducato, the leader, snuck through on the final, really, corner in Talladega and was about the only driver that made it through the last lap melee, and he was rewarded with his first Venom Truck Series victory. He now continues to show the way here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway. Ready, Gunter, how about Garrett Rainey, your car inside in-season tournament champion from last week, riding here in 3rd?
Field pretty spread out right now. Disorganized. I don't know if they're trying to form a 3rd or 4th line. You see 3 wide, about 5th truck back. Pink truck, that is Joshua Matacek, trying to lead the momentum on the top.
A nice little role reversal. Matacek, the one that calls your races on Thursday nights. You're up here for his race tonight.
Yeah, he told me to say good things about him, but I'm going to wait and see what he does, because I also don't want to be the commentator jinx in my first night. I already messed up when I got introduced to the booth, so let's not make any more mistakes. And Josh was a cool guy, so.
Come on, that's a rite of passage. You have to do it. Yeah. I know you could do it to anybody else then. We'll call it with that. Matacek was rolling really nicely there in this 3rd line with help from Kate Cannon. They've fallen off just a skosh. But, you know, at this point in the race, just trying some things here coming to lap number 4.
As most, viewers probably know, the bottom line is going to be the shortest line around the racetrack, but with how wide those corners are, the whole racetrack really, running the bottom, I think, is going to be such an advantage in the corners. I think that's why you're starting to see that top line fizzle out a bit. Not going to work, or will it? They're still kind of disorganized a little bit.
And that's the kind of the catch-22 about this place. It's 6 lanes wide. You can use them all in the straightaway, but not every line is a guaranteed hit through the corners, especially since, like you mentioned, it's a lot shorter on the bottom of this track.
Personally, I've never driven here or even witnessed a race here, so it's kind of fascinating to see what's going on. Normally, Talladega, Daytona, you have 2 or 3 very confined, tightly packed lines, and here, like I alluded to earlier, the disorganization, it kind of seems like nobody's really committed to what line they want to run. That's not going to help you get to the front.
No, definitely will not. So hello to everybody in the chat. And, surprise to RJ Sarcevic for being one of my 4 champions out on track this evening. Hello to the Mataceks as always. Thank you to Robin for keeping an eye out on us here. Hopefully that problem is fixed. Don Golden in the chat, Joshua Rutherford, and Zach Magris. One of our Thursday night fellas out here on a Tuesday, supporting you here this evening.
Oh, I got fans came over here, I guess. So Ducato, the Talladega winner, qualified up front. And I was asking you pre-race kind of who are generally the better super speedway guys in Venom. And he's picking up right where he left off, but up there on the top, Josh Freed trying to make a run at it again, and Joshua Matichek is not giving up in that third lane. Making good progress with no help. Oh, here comes the help.
It was a big night for your team Thursday night with CJ pulling off his first win. For Josh Freed there, with help from his team boss, Matt Schlosser, they had 3 trucks fighting for the win, all in the same stable. The last Tuesday night at Auto Club, Freed threw it in there in the final corner, and it cost him second, came home third, but still, he was there for the win. He came very close to an all-star race victory last season at the right-turning Monza Oval, of all places. And also finished on the podium at Talladega. So he can do this super speedway racing thing. Even as calm and as orderly as things are at the front of this field right now, Freed is very much in the mix currently.
Yeah, I'm kind of hyper-fixating on the 60 up in that top lane right now. I'm just waiting to see if they can get something going that creates more momentum to surpass the middle line, which seems to be struggling as well.
Oh, we got one around. And that is going to be quite the Wadham up here. That's Steve Roman. I believe Gary Clark is involved there. We're riding here with Corey Rutherford. God, Corey cannot buy a break recently. Hopefully the damage is not too bad on that truck, but I did hear somebody's engine go boom.
Steve Roman as well is trying to get his truck going on the apron.
So we will try and see where this starts. I'm going to go up the road to Gary Clark. I think he's in the middle. 4 wide here. We'll take the far chase and see what we could see. This is not an enviable position. We talk about this track being 6 lanes wide, but that does not mean you can ship it 6 wide. 4 wide is very uncomfortable. Here's something that we're going to be pointing out, I think, as this race goes along. Good to have Josh Jackson back in the field here this evening. Mark Ossier's leaving space on the bottom, and in fact, it is a full lane, but right as he goes to pull down, Jackson is going to fill this hole as well. A lot of drivers will leave half a lane, 3/4 of a lane down there on that yellow line. And it's kind of a gentleman's agreement not to get underneath of there. Now, I think Ossier left more than a lane, so Jackson with a run takes it right down there, but it makes it 4 wide. I'll speed it up here just a little bit. So right as that transition happens, it's going to shoot Ossier into Clark. Clark into the door of, I believe, Hayden Palumbo. Palumbo going to get cracked here by Corey Rutherford. Clark is going to keep going. That's might be a race ender there for him. Rutherford with the half and half black and white scheme. And Palumbo up into the wall.
I think the 17 of Ossier got a little bit spooked with that truck that was underneath and kind of wanted to leave a little more room and ended up doing the opposite of what he wanted and moving too far up, collecting that guy to the top. But yeah, gentleman's agreement, you would think, but this early in the race, I feel like everybody has an opportunity to give and take, and if you know you're being put 4 wide, even if somebody puts you there, maybe better to just back out of it and live to fight for another day.
Certainly. I think this is Andy Poliski that just barely clips Steve Roman, and that is, boy, as good as the Brook iRacing team is on these super speedways, they like to inflict a lot of violence on one another. So unfortunately, Poliski sending Roman careening into the scene of the accident there. So pit stops have happened. Not 100% sure who all has come down pit road, but from the looks of it, I'm going to say everybody, because I don't think we've caught the pace truck yet.
Nah, you got Ducato up there just getting, he's going to retain the lead. He's just catching the pace truck in 3.
Eric Breeding in the chat. Good to hear from Deputy Sarge. But I disagree. I think you would have missed that. I think you'd be in the lead right now. That's what I think. But, appreciate you stopping in.
I don't want to introduce any sort of broadcaster bias here, but I think your buddy Matt Williamson, he's going to be one of those guys fighting or living to fight for another day, right? Happens in his rearview mirror, and looks like he's up to 7th place. He's got Joshua right behind, 2 spots behind him.
A couple more drivers pulling in here. As hey, by the way, it's Kyle Zittel's birthday. Speaking of Kyle, Zittel.
I would have never guessed.
With the High Bank birthday bash.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's just a Tuesday. But yeah, Zittel. I mean, he knows how to win these super speedway races. Always one of the favorites. I'm sure he's exactly where he wants to be right now. Now, I will say, to your point about Matt Williamson, he and I share 2 different super speedway philosophies. You know, I don't like to talk us up any, but I think he and I both are super speedway specialists. That's how I'll put it. But he is very much in the company of staying at the front of the field as much as possible, trying to keep himself out of the crash that way. I like to ride and push late. And it's usually nice when you have somebody to push to that's at the front of the field. So, Matt is also right where he wants to be at this moment in time.
It's got to make it tricky. 2 teammates with entirely different philosophies. You're riding in the back, and then he's up there in the top 10. It makes it difficult when crunch time arrives and you're trying to get with your teammate to have that drafting help.
It's not always ideal, but if you can work it out to meet up before green flag pit stops, then you can all get on the same page. So, but right now, Jack Watts, Team 200 driver, also one of your Thursday night cohorts, out on track with Max V in his rookie season with the Venom Truck Series. He's beating Matt Williamson. He's doing my bidding and doing it well. So Watts on the outside of row number 2. Ducato and Gunter will be at the front of the field for this restart. We're back underway.
Ducato gets a pretty big jump. You see Watts is hooked up there on the top. He backs off. Oh. Man, it's not as tight-knit as I was expecting. Everybody trying to leave each other room, and you see Maticek back there trying to push Williamson. Now he's going to go up into he's indecisive. He's up to the top line.
The ebbs and flows of momentum in the first couple of laps before you get truly fully up to speed here. Speed's over 200 miles an hour in the draft, which, to be clear, is more than these trucks are actually capable of doing with their current package. That's just the magic of iRacing Super Speedway, however. They make the impossible possible.
Really compressed. Jack Watts, I was going to say, he's doing a really good job not creating too much of a gap behind Gunter there, and he's almost going to get Gunter clear going into 1. As Gunter moved down, he's not clear anymore. Maticek back up there in the 3rd line with no help. That's been the story of his race so far.
Definitely something to keep in mind as this race goes along, especially with the Max V trucks a couple months ago at Talladega. A lot of drivers were having engine temperature issues, and we're going faster here. And, you know, to make speed, you need to be bump drafting. I mean, it's a concern for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's something I didn't think about, as you see Jack still pushing the 01 of Brody Gunter. Bottom line seems a little more committed and organized. So, Tommy, you talked about being a super speedway specialist. So I feel like everybody in a way is a super speedway specialist just because the playing field's so level. But something in particular that you're looking for or think that makes you maybe a little bit better drafter than anyone else?
certainly just the situational awareness of knowing where you are at all times, who is around you, how many laps you have to accomplish whatever the next goal is, whether that's to get yourself in a good position for bonus points for the stage or where you are in line for your pit stop, and finding your friends and getting comfortable, basically. It also depends on the vibe of the race. The goal could just be, there's been plenty of times where Matt and I have just made the goal to survive for X amount of laps, and then after that we could start strategizing, but so far this race is not like that. It's being confident but not delusional or overconfident.
Right.
It's because the playing field is somewhat leveled. A lot of drivers will overdrive. You have to.
There'll be a lot of overdriving. We're on lap 13, 14, yeah. So see how it changes. You can notice the intensity ramp up and begin to change as the closer you get to the end of the race. So looks like maybe the first wreck kind of spooks everybody, and now we settle down, just try to chug along.
And we are definitely chugging along here, especially on the bottom. Topside is trying to rally a little bit. But they don't quite have the numbers right now. Well, they didn't down the backstretch. Now a couple more drivers will pull up and try and make a case here. As Andy Ducato continues to lead off the front bumper now of Garrett Rainey. Brady Gunter is your lead driver in the middle lane. A couple drivers going to fan out to the top side. Zach Lockett leads that group now.
I noticed that third top line will start to get some momentum. There's been a couple times they've been maybe 3 or 4 trucks back from the lead, and then I don't know if it's the way they're pushing, but it starts to stall out, and they got to take 2 or 3 more laps to build it all back up again.
Hardly anybody in the middle right now. Only 4 drivers. And again, only 5 on the top side. Everybody's going to be riding around the bottom. So with pit stops happening on lap 10, it should get us to about lap 35 before we see drivers having to come down pit road. Might be able to make it 1 or 2 laps on either side of that, but hopefully you've got your calculator ready, because I am not the math guy.
I can do some math in my head. How about that?
Well, whenever we start to see drivers peel off, we think we're due for 2 pit stops. But a round of yellow pit stops 10 laps into this race definitely factors in with this, especially with every single driver coming in.
Yeah, super speedway green flag pitting, so stressful and tricky. You want to come in and maybe come out and be in a group that's going to run down the pack that has yet to pit. You also don't want to risk. It's weird because if you pit at the wrong time, then it can mess with all your track position. Oftentimes you'll make a pact or a plan with your teammates. You all come down at once and you think it's timed right, and then some untimely caution comes out, and instead of coming out at the front of the field where you thought you'd be, now you end up all the way in the rear because however it cycles out. So it'll be interesting to see with Ducato leading most of this race, if we do have green flag pit stops, how it changes everything as they come up on a lap truck. Luckily we're not 3 lanes wide.
Riding here with Matt Williamson, and he is, pretty far down the pecking order here on the inside. Said he was where he wanted to be a minute ago. Not quite sure that's the case. But I think it's worth pointing out as well, you can hear him lifting down the straightaways here. And that may not be for any fuel-saving purposes. That just is kind of how they're riding right now.
It's always funny. You think of a track this big, you're off throttle about just as much as you are on throttle.
Kyle Zittel, the birthday boy. The big 3.5 for the 5.3. He's pushed up third in line here down low. John Kay is third in line on the top. As that was a little wobbly.
Yeah, it's that transition into the corner that's just, it's not, this is a fictional racetrack, so it's not like iRacing has something that they've scanned that, I think that's kind of what makes it wonky. It also comes, a track originating from a simulator 20 plus years ago, and I think kind of some outdated track structuring, if you will, that's taking place every time you see him go into the corner and everybody shakes around.
Hello to Parker Donaldson. I don't know if we said hello to him or not. Sounds like he's on a plane.
I believe he is. That's a teammate of mine on Thursdays, good friend of mine, Parker.
So he's either in a plane or he's got serious problems. Being 34,000 feet in the air. Definitely not ideal if you're not in a plane.
Well, if he is in a plane, I hope he's not the one flying it, because probably better things to focus on than watching a race, right? So Jack Watts, it's a guy, just a name that's familiar to me, racing against him again on Thursdays, but he's kind of been solidly up into the top 5, hasn't really left since he got there, so I think he knows what he's doing. Then you got Modicek as well. I can't remember, did Modicek qualify? Because he got to the front quick.
Modicek did not qualify. He started 29th, and he is inside the top 10, now make it the top 5. As this top line at the helm of Kyle Zittel is starting to rock and roll once again. And Zittel going to challenge Andy Ducato for the lead with help from Brody Gunter.
And Zittel was one of those guys who was running the bottom for a bit and at the right time has come up in front of that top lane. As you said, getting the push from Gunter and everybody that follows.
Now, I'll say I don't think these guys are going all out, which is, it's good. We're only 21 laps into this race. Not even a third of the way through yet. But this top line definitely needs a little something to get it up alongside and be the preferred line.
Yeah, I think you've got some pretty good pushers up there now. Kyle's going to get clear. It'll be interesting to see if he goes down to the bottom. I think I would, just because I know, that top line starts to stall out after a bit, as it does right there. So maybe he's comfortable where he's at right now, and he's just going to stick up there.
Hello to Lisa Carroll in the chat. As you can see how much ground this outside line makes down the straightaway. And not quite enough to get him back even. Oh, and there we go.
Oh, boy.
That is a lot, including, I think Matt Williamson got a piece of that, but John Kay is in it, Jeremy McKinnon is in it, RJ Starcevic, Steve Roman again. Poor guy. There's Lucas Carver. Oh, Rob Williams is toast. Josh Freed, who was a heavy hitter right at the start of this race, and that, I think, is going to be Freed's night over. So this is caution number 2 here on lap number 23, and where does this one kick off?
I think it started with the 39. I saw him on the apron. I don't know if he just lost it. That was Josh Freed, right?
Yes, it is. So here's Freed. Oh. And he was, pulling down. I'm wondering if something didn't happen here.
Man.
I mean, he just started slowing down. I think he was blowing up. I didn't hear the sound of the engine blowing up. But either way, man, that was big time. So
that sucks for everybody. You're just riding along, and you're going to have to look at Matt Williamson here. Yeah, he had a heck of a save.
So, I mean, this is Matt literally right behind Freed. Matt is going to get clipped. Oh, netcode. He actually had a missed, but it sends Matt around. I think Matt's going to be the lucky one here, and I don't know how many other people are going to consider themselves lucky. Matt will definitely have a couple seconds of damage. That transition is brutal, like you mentioned a second ago. But that is certainly not the worst of it. We'll go to Joshua Rutherford now here on the outside line. So there is Rob Williams up the track and into Rutherford. Will take Lucas Carver with him. Oh, that is big-time damage here for Carver. There's John Kay, and for Williams as well. Kay around into Joshua Rutherford.
We were just talking about how everybody seemed to kind of be settled down, content riding in just 2 lines. We saw a lot of 3 wide early, and it had simmered down a bit. But whatever happened to the 39 just, wiped out a lot of trucks. Out of nowhere, too. So you kind of get comfortable when you're in that draft, clicking laps off one by one, preparing for maybe a green flag pit stop, and then out of nowhere, just disaster strikes.
Yeah, Rob, poor Rob, out of this one for sure. That was
I'm seeing on my monitor that Josh Freed, he's disconnected. So I'm wondering if he had some sort of connection issue and tried to just jerk the wheel left, get out of everybody's way. He was too late. He was on that flat part of the track, and it just sent him back up into everybody.
That could very well be. That's unfortunate either way, not just for everybody involved, but for Freed as well, who was having a good race and has been running well recently. That is too bad. Yeah, Joshua in the chat saying the Rutherford boys are out, and it's up to Brody Gunter for a good night for work in progress. Gunter still running in third as well ahead of that accident. But, yeah, I don't know. Even Sam Baumgarten as well, part of that work in progress group, they've just had absolutely crap luck lately. I think Mark Ossier has crashed under caution. Hopefully just spun it on the flat. We are going to take a look, though. Oh, well, that won't help.
He's got a lot of front-end damage that maybe truck not handling as good as it should have.
Yeah, certainly will have some aero damage from that crash. These things are loose down on the apron. I mean, I know they've touched up this aero model a little bit and taken some of the downforce away, and the place you can really feel it is down on the flat at some of these tracks on pit out, especially here. I mean, it's basically negative camber banking down on the flat. It's less than flat. It's banked the other direction by a degree or two. So that's where you're going to feel that the most.
Yeah, it's a little misleading because the corner's so sweeping. You'd think, you could carry some speed down there on pit exit or the apron anywhere, but it's actually a really sharp angle you got to take in order to make it, and so you're already carrying so much speed once the corner begins. It's hard to shed that off when you're trying to make your corner.
Nothing is very straightforward here, even the incredibly straightforward long straightaways. They all have tricks up their sleeve. So make this at least an interesting race, if not, in my opinion, a fun one.
Everybody pitted Ducato to third here, so it'll be interesting to see how he can maybe regain control of the race that he's basically dominated thus far.
And Alabama gang teammates on the front row, but they are going to get separated from each other quickly. Rainey got a big jump, but now he's going to lag up just a bit to try and catch Brody Gunter and maybe get Zittel clear and in front. We'll see if Gunter gets to shoving here to try and keep these two separated from one another. And no, Zittel still going to get down. So Jack Watts now leads the outside line.
Jack was just about to be clear, and Zittel got a push from behind. That's going to make him equal going into 3 and 4.
Oh, Watts thought about it. Just a little bit of a move down before Zittel gets his nose underneath, and now Zittel is fully ahead of the 77 of Watts off the front bumper of Zach Lockett.
Watch this, though. That top line is really formed together nice, so Jack's going to have a run going into 1. And again, just like we've seen pretty much the rest of the race, you break even and can't do anything beyond that. It's so hard to clear that car on the bottom. Boy, they are
Ooh.
pushing like crazy, though. I'm glad I'm not. Boy.
And Lockett a little bit off center as well. That's risky business.
Yeah, I got pushed off center on Thursday, and as I worked my way to try to get straightened back out, they had already hung me out to dry. Went from probably second place to 30th, so lose a lot of track position quick.
A couple of drivers bailing out, trying to form the top line, but it is sucking the life out of this now middle lane. Lockett and Watts will try and rally with Chad Stearns, the third driver on this middle lane. I believe it's Matichek and Gainey that are working the top side. Yes, it is. Two drivers with an alliance, not necessarily on the same team, but Pony Express and Insert Coin Racing working together at the super speedways as Jack Watts working together to get down in front of Kyle Zittel. Now it is teammates Lockett and Stearns who will run the top side.
I think they're starting to get that at least the second lane figured out, because that's the second time now we've seen a car up there get clear and go to the bottom. Jack Watts, who's going to lead this one at the line? That's close. Is Lockett.
Lockett, remember, the most recent Venom Truck Series appearance here was the All-Star race a couple of seasons ago, and Lockett was victorious. Has yet to get a points-paying victory in VTS. He's come awfully close. Would love to change that here this evening. You can see how uneasy they are, and now they're going to get hung out as Broke Guy gets underneath. That's Poliski and Vroman. Lockett able to cover it off. Didn't Poliski just wreck Vroman about 15 laps ago?
Yeah, he drove into his teammate, right? You said.
Yes, he
that
did.
First yellow.
I think Vroman is put like nickel plating in that truck or something. Because for anybody that was watching last week, he flipped over 3 times down the front stretch at Auto Club, and he still finished in 7th. Just a reminder, there are no fast repairs in the Venom Truck Series. Vroman is indestructible, apparently.
Either that or iRacing doesn't register roof damage or something.
I don't think it does. He definitely had other damage. So it was a bit surprising, but, you know. Vroman gonna Vroman.
Speaking of damage, your buddy here, Matt Williamson, he's still in this lead draft. So good to see that he not too big of a victim of that pile up a little bit ago.
Definitely will have lost some track position. He's a little bit further back on the inside line than I'm sure he's wanting to be, but still being patient here. Not even to the halfway mark of the race. Take care of the truck after the nearest of misses. You're talking about the transition in and out of the turns. Watch the hands. Out of the corners and in the corners here. Riding kick pot with our main man, Mr. Matt Williamson.
Wow, he's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's
I think
only
a lot of guys are struggling more than he is.
Oh, they are 4 wide right in front of him as Poliski and Vroman get shuffled out there. Just for a split second, but that is enough to raise the hair on your arms.
Jack Watts timed his run to the front from that middle lane perfectly, because he's kind of in control here and nobody's been able to mount a challenge to surpass him.
Watts leading some of his first laps here in the Venom Truck Series. In fact, these are his first laps led in the Venom Truck Series. Best finish of 6th thus far this season as they get all sorts of out of shape here on the inside line. And the work is not over yet to try and get everybody back in order. Handling's starting to go away with a couple opportunities here under caution. I would imagine most of these drivers have taken at least right side tires, but maybe not. But the handle is dropping for sure.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. That's Gunter.
So, I think this is kind of the part of the race where you want to get yourself set up and find that track position, because if you wait too long, everybody's going to be pushing so much harder, and it's essentially becomes gridlocked. It's harder to work your way to the front when everybody's trying to do that, right? So
It's a heck of a thing to have all this space and knowing that you can't use all of it realistically to try and move your way forward.
then we saw Maticek got shuffled out of line just a lap ago. I think Chad Stearns was pushing him and got him a little out of shape. And now you got Maticek right in front of Jack Watts. So somehow that misfortune has turned into running second place for Joshua.
Well, I can tell you this. Running second place would be on the season 10 tombstone of Joshua Maticek. 3 runner-up finishes. He's yet to get back to victory lane after winning at Talladega in his rookie season. I can't tell you how badly he wants to win. Just, if not tonight, just at any point. And he's more than capable of doing so. I mean, that's incredibly frustrating.
Talladega winner, right?
Yes, indeed.
Not this season, but that's his lone Venom Truck Series win was at Talladega, so he knows how to get it done.
I mean, he's got runner-up finishes in just about every track type in his Venom Truck Series career. At all but 2 laps at the dirt track race at Bristol Dirt last season.
All right, so put yourself in these guys' shoes. Would you rather be the truck leading the draft, or would you rather be Joshua there having a push and run second?
Depends on the situation. With Maticek having help behind him, my guess is that Watts would probably go with him if this were the final lap. He could pull out and give it a go. If it's a 2-man race, I definitely want to be the lead truck, but with everybody behind me, you probably want to be second or third in line.
Oh!
Whoa, boy.
Turns up in the wall. They
Yes,
were
it
trying
is.
to pass a lap truck. We got 4 wide for a second. That saw earlier that doesn't work, and it didn't work again. Luckily, he kept it together.
So Stearns will drop all the way to the tail end of the lead pack here, which puts him back to 21st.
Coming up on another lap truck.
Yeah, it's one thing to catch him one at a time, but they caught a whole bunch of them all at once. Even John K. hit to try and get out of the way. And they still had quite a few lap trucks to contend with. Josh Jackson, by the way, back in the field. Haven't seen him in a number of weeks. Glad to have him. Sorry that his night has gone the way that it has thus far. Zach Lockett leading now. Here's Andy Ducato. Ooh, that was tight there with Joshua Maticek. And the reason, it's not just the handling issue that you're seeing these trucks jump up like that. If you are as close as Joshua Maticek is, tell me you can see that yellow line there, especially headed into the turn. You can't.
Right. You combine the lack of visibility with, the awkward transition into the corner, and I'm probably a little bit higher speeds, looking at over 200 miles an hour too. So that just amplifies everything. Makes it very difficult to pin your truck where you want it.
Pretty forgiving to do that at Daytona. A little less forgiving to do it at Talladega. I mean, it's like 50-50 shot whether it's just complete death here or not, as look at that. Frank Sirachi underneath of, oh no, and around. Yikes.
Oh, that's going to be,
Lockett involved.
Williamson.
Oh, the beat rolls on. This is most of the field. Wow. And that was Sirachi, I think, taking his teammate 3 wide. If I'm not mistaken. That was really only Andy Ducato and Jordan Journeau, your top 2 from Talladega, get through this without something. That was big. Let's back it up. So I think was trying to get Andy to come down, but instead it gets underneath of it, which I can't tell you how easy that is to do. He's trying to get the 0-2 to come down here. May have started this a little bit too early. But he is underneath of Andy.
So is that Lockett in the 93? Well, you
Yes.
see a 3 lift.
And that's just going to kick it off right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not... Yeah, I don't know. That was just a bad set of circumstances all around. So, Srirachi not trying to take Ducato 3 wide, and that is exactly what gets them jammed up here. And then it is on from
Zittel.
here. Zittel and
Birthday
Monacek
boy
will...
got in that one.
Yeah, they'll kick off the second leg of this accident here. Boy, I'm having a hard time just finding the people on the running order that I need to. There's really 2 people whose names start with a Z in this league. There we go. So that's that leg of the accident. Then it continues to intensify. As Monacek gets turned down right in front of Zittel, and that blocks the only other viable lane that most of these drivers are going to try and get through. Then Rainey plugs the middle. There goes Gunter. So Jack Watts makes it through relatively unscathed. Oh, Matt Williamson, a huge shot into Kyle Zittel. That is going to give both of them some serious damage.
It's all the heavy hitters, too.
I mean, it is also most of everybody, but indeed the heavy hitters got heavily hit. Zittel, Williamson, Vroman, Monacek, Lockett, all the front runners in this race. I mean, that was bowling shoe ugly. It wasn't as nefarious as I initially thought. The confusion of why Srirachi would take his teammate 3 wide. Well, it turns out he didn't mean to. Just trying to get down there, and that just speaks to how big of runs you get here. That was just a simple flick of the wrist down the track, and all of a sudden he was underneath of his teammate and gets them all checked and stacked and all headed to the infirmary.
Tell you what, I haven't said his name, I don't think once this entire race, but coming off pit road behind Andy Ducato is Matt Schlosser.
There he is. The boy wonder himself.
Where has he been?
That's a great question. He always does that on the super speedways. He always shows up. Not that we're late into this one, but like you said, it's been 38 laps, and he's just kind of been riding around. And all of a sudden, he's here in P2. I don't have any sort of tip that this is going to be noteworthy. But let's just see what Matt Schlosser saw. And what he sees... Oh, there we go. Showed me the wrong person. Trying to get through this accident. Something tells me if he's riding in the back, he's probably going to miss this.
He's right where he wants to be on the bottom. A little bit easier to escape the carnage. Oh, wow. That is a masterful... It almost looked like he jerked the hand so much like he did get clipped or touched by somebody, but if not, that was some impressive avoidance out of the champ.
Schlosser's looking for 3 wins in a row coming into tonight. He does statistically well on the super speedways. He has a exhibition super speedway victory in the Venom Truck Series with the Daytona Pro-Am, but does not have a points-paying super speedway victory, I think, on turn 200 at all. But this is one of those races, not that, you know, the regular season championship isn't a thing that really pays out any bonus points or a trophy or anything like that, I don't think. But, you know, if you're some of these drivers that want to make up points on the leader tonight, if you see the leader running at the front of the super speedway, you just kind of have to go, oh, shucks.
Is that the 7? Jackson?
Yep,
I thought
Josh.
I just saw him go a lap down.
I believe... I think
on the bottom line.
I think he is still a lap down. I just think this speaks to how few trucks there are after this crash. I mean...
Yeah,
he's 9th in line, but he's running in 23rd. A lot of drivers are out on track, but have taken extensive repairs, so are still catching up. But they're going to let it ride. Normally they extend the caution if most of the field is catching up. They're not going to do that here, though. Coming to lap 41, the green flag is out. Andy Ducato is back in control of the field after escaping that crash. Schlosser to his outside.
So one thing I want to point out, what do you say the pit window was? 25 laps?
Oh, baby. Yes,
And
I did
I've
say
gotta
that.
With a lot fewer trucks running and in the field, there's less potential for, more accidents. So if it does go green all the way, can they make it?
The other thing that plays massively into the fuel window, and I'm talking laps, is aero damage. And, I mean, that's almost everybody as Schlosser takes the lead. Almost everybody will have not a perfectly smooth truck at this point. Even if it's quote-unquote fixed, it's still a little wrinkled. That isn't nothing. Jordan Journeau is second in line, pushing Matt Schlosser.
So Schlosser giving up the lead. One thing, beyond just aerodynamics and damage to the truck, if you're trying to save gas, you're probably not trying to run in the front of the field. You're going to use the most fuel leading the race. So if that is a factor, maybe that plays into Schlosser's decision just to completely hand over the lead and drop multiple spots back.
And Matt Williamson's and I's time at the iRacing Superspeedway, it's not been uncommon for drivers to be, half a lap short, and just back the whole pace of the field up. If people don't realize what you're doing, you'll be surprised, how quickly the herd mentality kicks in and people just kind of go with it and are also wondering why they're checking up so much. Well, it's because the leader's running 3/4 throttle trying to save fuel. But then if you do realize that, you can pull out a line and try and make stuff happen.
Yeah, you saw Brian Mitchell, the 78, poked out a line. Looked like maybe he was trying to get the second line going again. But nobody went with them, so back to the bottom.
First time we've said his name here this evening.
Yeah, it's just, new to this, and I had just started to get everybody down, and it's like 15 new faces at the front after that big wreck.
That's the fun of super speedway racing is everybody gets airtime. But, if it's your first night on the job, it's bad enough having to learn a couple of names. But you only know a couple people in this race to begin with. So, a little flip reversal there. Just to make it easy. Yeah.
So he's in a second pack. Brody Gunter, Jack Watts, Garrett Rainey, Zach Lockett behind this lead group. And I don't know if that's a strategic decision, try to stay out of more potential issues, but they're back there. I didn't see Jack get involved in that he didn't collide with anything, so I don't feel like he's running back there because he has damage.
No, certainly could be making a fuel play here. The other thing I'll say is that group is 3.5 seconds separated to Cole Maxwell, who's hanging off the tail of this pack right now. And you need to be within about 2 seconds with help to be within draft range. So they've got some work to do if they want to catch back up to this pack. And there's going to be a point where they're definitely going to want to if they want to win this race. But also, to your point, I don't think we're done with the crashes yet. We've been riding around here nice and calm for the majority of the laps, and all of a sudden it's kicked off out of nowhere.
Yeah, you'd think fewer trucks. That's what I said earlier. Maybe fewer trucks, there's less potential for that. But then you get a lot of new faces and maybe faces that aren't used to running top 5, top 10, and that still creates opportunity for something unfortunate to occur.
Well, here's the stat. 6 out of the top 10 drivers right now in the running order have never won a Venom Truck Series race. So how bad do you want it here at iRacing Superspeedway with 20 to go?
Saw Kyle Zittel go a lap down. He's over 30 miles an hour off the pace.
Unfortunately, that big shot that he took from Matt Williamson is also multiple seconds a lap off the pace as well. He will be the next to go a lap down here. As there's the gap back to the field for Williamson. It seems like a lot, but they'll catch him within a couple laps here. He's hoping for a caution to come down and get more damage fixed. He might get one as they're 3 wide here in the mid-pack. Austin Holyfield, another sneaky good super speedway racer that we have not mentioned much this evening. Hello to Chris Sargent, another Max V fella in the chat. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
So, one thing that I keep seeing Matt Schlosser do, he's kind of maintaining a gap to whoever's in front of him. That could be some of that fuel-saving stuff. That's one thing I learned racing with some really good guys on Thursdays is, you know, there was one race I did, and they wouldn't catch up to me. I couldn't figure out why. And maybe 3 or 4 truck lengths back, and the whole run, it was just the Bandit boys saving fuel, and then I went and took a look at my fuel and realized I couldn't make it. So Schlosser being a champion and somebody experienced as Williamson loses that lap. Anyway, maybe that's what Schlosser's got up his sleeve right now.
Those Bandit drivers, not that they're not robots everywhere, but golly, they can super speedway race. It's honestly, it's not fair. It's just not fair.
Well, when you got so many of them all coordinating with each other, it makes it pretty unfair. But almost 3 wide for the lead there going into 1. Third line was working for a second. Just as quickly as it forms, it disintegrates.
Ooh, as Brian Mitchell walks it up the track a little bit into the door of Chad Stearns. Stearns trying to push Holyfield. Here's the other thing about big crashes like this is it takes out swaths of teammates. There are not a whole lot of drivers up here that are actually coordinating with one another. It's all happenstance.
What's that super speedway teammate saying, right? Friends are where you find them.
Indeed.
It's just tricky because if you're used to racing with teammates, or you're not used to racing with guys that, oh, this will be interesting. They're trying to go 3 wide, but there's a lap truck. Josh Jackson has to check up for him. Anyway, you really don't know. You know, you find your dancing partner, and it's hard to, if you're unfamiliar with how they race, it makes it a whole lot more difficult for you to try and gain that track position if they're not pushing you like you'd want, or vice versa. They're a little more unpredictable just because you're not used to being around them and racing with them.
Holyfield now getting pushed out in front by Chad Stearns. Can Holyfield get clear? Not quite. Journeau's still pulling the bottom.
And that pack that Jack Watts was in has caught the lead group.
Okay, so good work. And normally if they catch with a big enough head of steam, it could be a real problem as Stearns and Holyfield get in line down low.
I think Kyle Zittel's making minimum speed.
We might have to post him, but he also runs the league, so he might kick us out.
I wasn't going to say anything to him.
That's his birthday. We'll let it slide this time. Oh, he's going to be bummed out. But regardless, here's Brantley Gainey. BG22 leading the lap around the outside with help from his teammate Cole Maxwell. And a former ICR driver, Brian Mitchell, in tow as well.
Something tells me the fuel saving's over.
I think you might be right. Go ahead.
If that's what they were doing running in that second pack, and now suddenly they've caught this lead one. Well, maybe the lead one's fuel saving, but I know Maticek, who was involved in that big crash, he was hanging with these guys for a little bit, but as they've seemed to have turned the wick up, he has lost the draft, and I think everybody's driving a little bit harder, maybe more confident they can make it to the end.
There are 17 lead lap drivers and also Josh Jackson. So a pack of 18 at the front of this field, and you're right. I mean, the intensity's picked back up here pretty quick.
But it is a super speedway, and I'm not trying to manifest anything, but oftentimes these races result in green-white checkered. So
I
again,
said, I don't know how much influence you and I have on the nature of super speedway racing. I think it's just going to happen either way.
well, I say that because Schlosser still, he's not ever tucked up behind somebody. So again, that champion's mindset, you know, everybody else may be content with the fuel they save, but he could be saving a little bit more just in the event of green-white checkered or potentially multiple.
So Gainey's definitely clear to move down. Maxwell is as well, and there they go. Gainey coming off his best finish of the season last week. He completely snuck in on us. We finished 5th. Second top 10 of the season. Cole Maxwell's had a rough go of things this season, to say the least, and now he is hung out. And he's going to be headed the wrong direction.
We've seen this be a problem if they can't get it sorted. It's going to be a big push off the top, I think, here.
The top side is pretty formed up here. This might be their best opportunity. Just as we say that, Garrett Rainey pulls into the middle and leaves Andy Poliski out.
Brian Mitchell, he's got a ton of momentum. He can go wherever he wants.
He is listing up the track. Maxwell working it behind him. Steve Roman pulls up into the middle now. Mitchell clear by a foot or less down onto the bumper of Brantley Gainey.
Yeah, I think the fuel savings, that aspect of the race is over. 4 wide mid-pack.
This is getting intense again very quickly.
Maxwell gets put 3 wide. No help.
And that is Jeremy McKinnon. That is the Jaws music playing for the leaders of this race. McKinnon on the warpath like he always is here at the Super Speedways. You do not want to see the 12 at the front of this field.
Going to come up on Zittel again here, and Williamson shortly after. Kyle Zittel staying out of the way.
McKinnon with help.
He's not giving up.
No. I mean, you got to try and stay in it. You never know what's going to happen. Coming to 10 to go. I think it's all on the table, especially with 3 opportunities at overtime. Oh, there we go. Oh, boy. That is big-time problems. Brian Mitchell, Chad Stearns, Cole Maxwell, Austin Holyfield involved. Hot dog.
Wow. I mean, that's the...
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. I mean, normally you have one big one in a race. I think that's our 4th big one and 4 crashes. Oh, and that... Oh, I thought maybe it was netcode. I think we just caught it maybe at the wrong time. Let's try and take a better look here as soon as I can find Brian Mitchell in the running order. Go at quarter speed. Mitchell, oh, he's going to get pushed up the track. Just a little hooking together with the bumpers there for Brantley Gainey. Gainey then with exactly a truck width to work with and into the quarter panel of Brian Mitchell. I mean, that happened fast. McKinnon, Vroman, Rainey get through. Poliski's just barely going to sneak by, and then the hole shuts on Cole Maxwell.
See Mitchell up into the fence. Jack Watts is going to sneak through another one. Oh, I think he will, right?
Yeah, just barely. Stearns with big damage.
So my view, I know it was close, but I think there was just the slightest bit of netcode. There might have been a foot width gap between the quarter panel on the right front.
Definitely, it did not look natural the way that Mitchell's truck gets sort of like shot up the track here. Unfortunately, I've lost him again. I mean, it looks weird. The official scientific term for this in the Venom Truck Series, by the way, is called a McRib. I don't know where it started. I have no idea, but there might have been just even a hint of a McRib in that. So let's back this up, and now we'll get a look at it from somebody a little bit deeper in the field, say perhaps a Matt Schlosser. who was, to your point, waiting for this exact scenario from the looks of it. Straight to the middle, then to the bottom. Wow. I will say that was, for him driving as cautious as he was, that was an ill-advised way to approach that accident, but at least it worked out for him to throttle through the hole. Oh, man.
That's his second time today, so that's very impressive. Him and Jack Watts. I'm sure there's been others too that have, hey, look at my onboard, but those are the two that have stood out. They're kind of, wow, there's no trucks left.
No, this field has been ravaged by a medium-sized crash and 3 large crashes. As we go with Jack Watts, right? and a McRib, yep. And the horse he rode it on. You know, sometimes it just do be like that here at iRacing Super Speedway. There's just no two ways around it. It just do be like that sometimes. We'll tell you who is on the battlefield behind the pace truck right now. Jeremy McKinnon is the leader. Steve Roman in second. Andy Poliski in third. Broke Guy Racing, 1, 2, 3. Jack Watts in fourth. Matt Schlosser in fifth. Tyler Bergert, whose podium streak at Talladega went kablooey earlier this season. Why not start a new streak right now? He rides in sixth. Andy Ducato in seventh. And I think those are the drivers that stayed out. Garrett Rainey, Jordan Journeau, Brody Gunter, Zach Lockett, Frank Sirachi, Joshua Monacek, Chad Stearns, and Brian Mitchell are all pulling back out onto the track. And if Cade Cannon can join them, oh, nope, he is going to be trapped a lap down. He did not get out in front of the pace truck. So that will make it 15 drivers on the lead lap, unless they are generous and give it to Cade Cannon anyway. Then it'd be 16. That's not very many. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other drivers. 8 other drivers that are out on track, laps down. Now, we started this race with 32 people.
Well, fuel completely out of the question now. At least we think so. It's just going to be full throttle here, right?
Amen. Amen to that. It's certainly, you know, not having to worry about fuel or anything like that. It certainly helps you fixate on the real end goal, which is to win the race. And I think anybody that didn't take more than a couple minutes worth of damage in that crash has a legitimate shot to come away with it here. So really,
it does give
anybody in the top 10.
Yeah, it does give other drivers an opportunity as well to repair some of the damage in the previous accidents. So, you know, Monacek's one I'm looking at. It'll be interesting to see if he's done enough to get himself back in contention, but it's all the front of the field right now. Oh, we got a truck turned around.
Oh. Well, we are green. I'll tell you this much. Broke Guy Racing is licking their chops right now. They control the top 3 positions, and there are not a whole lot of teammates left to help each other out there on the track. It's Broke Guy versus the world. Roman is on the top here with help from Jack Watts. Watts in a good position. Tyler Bergert is going to join the mix here. So is Andy Ducato, though I think that was Jordan Journeau that just jumped up to the top side. Roman is going to be clear to jump down in front of his teammates. Looks like he's going to keep it up top, though. And we've seen this before from Broke Guy, controlling both lanes. Doesn't have
set themselves up for success.
Oh,
yeah.
We've got a caution. And no!
On the front stretch.
Under the caution, that was, I think, Tyler Bergert that just got turned, but the caution was already out. What happened there? We'll try and track down the actual cause of the caution here momentarily, but man.
The 10 truck of Austin Holyfield.
Oh, Austin Holyfield. Okay, so we'll see what happens under the actual caution here. This is Holyfield I think that was Hayden Palumbo, and Holyfield just going to get turned. As those two were trying to make as much speed as possible, unfortunately that was probably going to polish Holyfield off. But then, that is Bergert and Andy Ducato getting hooked together here. And my guess is they're going to check up as the caution comes out, and somebody at the back of the line here is not going to check up and continue to push on. Or I think Bergert maybe just checked up a skosh quicker than Ducato was expecting. And that will be Bergert into Gunter into Ducato. And Bergert nearly upside down, all but. Yeah, that truck will be toast. So, I mean, Bergert, much like the Rutherfords, has had pretty crappy luck this season. And I would put that one in that pile. That sucks tremendously. Ducato, meanwhile...
Ducato wheeling it here?
He's absolutely trying to get this baby reined in.
I mean,
now
that's like...
Oh,
man.
Just a little kiss there.
That was like 4 good saves, all in one straightaway.
And he ought to be giving something to Jordan Journeau there, because Journeau was on that same frequency. They were working together to not get each other crashed. Unfortunately, Ducato just a little bit far from saving it. And, yeah, there's Joshua in the chat pointing out Gunter very much with the team luck. That firmly falls in that camp as well. Certainly, you know, whatever fault you want to pin on Bergert or Ducato, they'll hash that out later. But Gunter had nothing to do with that, and he gets creamed. So that takes an already sparsely populated field up front and just takes a few more out.
I'm telling you, though, every caution, these guys in the back that had damaged trucks from previous accidents, I keep bringing them up. I brought them up all night, but only because he told me to. Joshua Maticek, I watched them beat out the rear spoiler of his truck. It's all straight. No damage on the front end. I think he's going to make a run for it here.
Even if it's not at 100%, it's about to look like it is, I'm sure. He's going to wheel that thing till the wheels fall off. There's Tyler Bergert in the chat. Yeah, yep, that sucks.
Who we got leading? McKinnon?
Old Jeremy McKinnon, the Super Speedway favorite. 6 Venom Truck Series wins. 3 of them on the Super Speedways. But not at iRacing Super Speedway. Only other race here in series history went to Carson Mitchell back in Season 3. 2 All-Star races here went to Ryan Dye in Season 6 and Zach Lockett in Season 8.
You want a fun fact, Tommy?
I do want a fun fact. Lay it on me.
You're the stat guy, so I had to come up with something cool to tell you, right?
Okay.
So iRacing Super Speedway, 3 miles long.
Is that all?
straightaway. Each straightaway is a mile long.
Oh, God.
So that's the length of New Hampshire Motor Speedway on each straightaway. But then you think about the corners then. They'd each have to be a half mile. So you're doing New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the straightaway. Then you go run Martinsville in the corner. Then you come back and do New Hampshire and Martinsville again. Isn't that crazy?
That is wild to think about, and they're doing it in less than a minute. It speeds over 200 miles an hour. Well, I have to be the guy to point this out, unfortunately. Last time Broke Guy was in this position was in the caution-free Rocket Man Memorial 2 seasons ago. It was Poliski leading McKinnon with Vroman in third. Out of turn 4, they had a podium on lock, and they all wiped each other out. None of them got a podium.
Oh, wow. That was not the ending I was expecting.
I can tell you, it's probably not the ending they were expecting either. And I guarantee you that is fresh in the memory of all 3 of these drivers. They just want to bring a trophy home for the team and not have a similar blunder. McKinnon is quick to get on the gas here. We're backing our way, 3 laps to go.
Yeah, watch that momentum from the top here. Schlosser gets to Poliski. Can he push him clear? I think that was, the classic case of getting too big of a jump on the restart.
Poliski had a hole. Doesn't take it. He's gonna try and continue up top here.
Oh my gosh.
They are pushing hard.
Arachi's 3 wide through the middle. Wow.
There goes Schlosser. Schlosser on the top with help from Garrett Rainey. Remember, this is not a green-white checkered. We are coming to 2 laps to go. Oh, now we're going to overtime. Who is going to survive this one? Oh, my God! Jesus! I think that crashed my iRacing. We're looking at a pause screen. Poliski he's dead.
That's all the teammates. That's everybody.
Oh, dear.
I think there were some trucks that went clear through it that still were involved in some netcode, like you were saying, iRacing acting all crazy.
Well, Andy Poliski died. That's the long short of it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've lost him. Oh, sweet Jesus. Well, let's try and piece this one together. We're going to overtime here. It's already... Oh, my God. That was gruesome. That was just gruesome. Let's back it up. It literally froze my screen. He was flapping around so much. I don't know. That's never happened before. Locked my whole computer down for a half second there. Yeah, to your point, I just clicked on Chad Stearns, who's currently riding in second, and he is not even in this pack. So, I mean, this is just gonna be massive. Where does it start? Sirachi pushing Poliski, Vroman pushing McKinnon on the bottom. There's Rainey pushing Schlosser on the top side.
I think it starts with that 3 truck in the middle.
Okay. We'll go far chase here then. And, Sirachi just off the transition out of turn 4. The front end of the truck just snaps down the hill. You can see it right there. The truck just unloads and then reloads straight into the right rear quarter panel of Vroman. Vroman clips Poliski. Poliski clips McKinnon. I mean...
1, 2, 3, 4, just stagger.
I mean, that's just comical. If it weren't for this. Look at this. Oh my, they're all dead. Oh my God, they're all going to hit it over 100. I mean, literally, Vroman is impaled. He gets impaled.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I got to be honest. I've never.
I haven't either.
Have you ever?
No, I've never. I've touted my experience here all night at iRacing Super Speedway. I've never seen that. That is just ridiculous. That's just unbelievable. Look at that.
You got the pit wall going on, but you got trucks flipping down the front stretch too.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to... it's choice paralysis. Everybody's got something interesting to look at, and I can't click on anybody because they're all just doing the craziest stuff I've ever seen.
You know what, Tommy? You're supposed to be in this race. I think you could go out there and...
I might be able to make up all 65 laps and pick up some spots.
I will call the rest of the race for you. Look at... Is that Poliski in the infield? Yeah, no,
Poliski was the one that we were on the live shot of, and I'm trying to take the replay of it, but it's bugging my thing out again. I mean, we're talking that's like 1,000 G impact, and then look at that. He's 100 feet in the air. That is just... I don't even know. We haven't even looked at anybody else that crashed on the front stretch because we can't take our eyes off of the people that are, have exploded. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of this accident then. Schlosser thinks he might have an opportunity to get here on the top side. It's going to close up real fast. Sirachi in, piles into Rainey. There's Zach Lockett in. You'll have to keep an eye as well to make sure that we're not going to go green here with any number of any number of 3 trucks that are left in this race, if I had to guess.
I think there's 3 on the lead lap, something like that. I'm counting Chad Stearns is leading the race, and he's got heavy right front damage. As a matter of fact, no right front fender.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, there's a handful of trucks that are going to slip through here. Palumbo, Stearns. I think I saw Lucas Carver in there, but he might be, he's actually like 30 laps down. We're going to take one more replay here, and then we're going to get back to the live.
On the backstretch.
Okay. This is just one of the craziest accidents I've ever seen. McKinnon up and over. Randy actually got through it okay, but he did come down to pit because he did get damage on the door. I think the good news for him is every single person has damage now. I mean, it is seriously every single driver has damage.
Well, everyone except Hayden Palumbo.
I think Palumbo was he was in an earlier accident. He's just been kind of
right front.
He's been hanging out.
Oh, he's got a lot. Wow.
Josh Jackson in third, by the way, is not on the lead lap. He is, I think, 2 laps down, and he is in 12th. And he's going to restart in the 5th position. I mean, there's Cade Cannon in 5th. All right, so it's Stearns, Palumbo, Mitchell, Rainey, and Cannon. Some other drivers pulling up here late. We're in overtime, and there's nobody left. Somebody has to win this race. Somebody has to, contractually, somebody is walking away with a win. Who is it going to be? And how are they going to survive? I mean, this is the craziest race I think we've had here on the channel. Look at that. I mean, you can see the damage on Stearns' nose, and he's leading.
Palumbo to the outside.
Yeah,
Look at
Palumbo.
this momentum from the top. All these lap trucks.
That's Williamson pushing Jackson in, but again, that's not for the win. Here comes Jeremy McKinnon.
Out of nowhere.
McKinnon out of nowhere was just upside down mere minutes ago, and now he's back to the lead with help from Cade Cannon. Again, Williamson third in line, but not in it for the win. Jackson trying to rally Palumbo back into the fight, but it's not happening. Here's Matt Schlosser now into the picture. Cannon going to duck out of line. We're coming to the white flag. And the race is official. Here's Schlosser 3 wide. Matt Williamson is pushing Cade Cannon through on the top side. Cannon.
Schlosser's going to have one more run at it.
Palumbo.
Unless he gets cut off right there, he does.
McKinnon coming back with a run. Trying to piggyback off of Palumbo and Jackson here.
It's going to be hard for anybody to get around. I mean, Williamson down there right behind the leader, unless this push up to the front from that top line can work. Palumbo. Oh, it might work.
Oh, Cannon up to block! There goes Cannon! They all crash again except for Palumbo! Hayden Palumbo is the sole survivor of iRacing Superspeedway. Brody Gunter finishes in second, somehow, 3.5 seconds behind Palumbo. Frank Sirachi is on the podium. I don't even know what to say. That was... I don't even know what to say. Oh, my goodness.
Matt, I feel for Cade Cannon, though.
I mean, going for a first career victory in his rookie season with the Venom Truck Series, throwing the big block on Palumbo, nonetheless. And Palumbo makes it through. Cannon, I think, went upside down. Somebody else exploded off the water barrels there on the inside. I don't even know what to say. Hopefully,
damaged truck I've ever seen win a race.
Yeah. I'm completely beside myself. That was unbelievable. And Hayden Palumbo, it's his second career Venom Truck Series victory, his first of the season. I'm sure he'll feel some kind of way about this, but I'm sure he's just happy to get back to victory lane. It's been too long. hopefully for Joshua Rutherford and for both of the Rutherfords, Gunter getting back on the podium after that will break the bad luck streak.
Pretty solid burnout.
I mean,
I don't know if he's got wheel damage, but I'm seeing he's doing the burnout and his left rear is picked up off the ground, so I wouldn't be surprised.
just to point out as well, the driver that pushed Palumbo past the start-finish line was RJ Starcevic. And in battle for control of turn 200, RJ Starcevic lost out, unfortunately, to Matt Williamson by a lap. They finished 13th and 14th, but 1 lap separated. Oh, my God. Well, I don't know. As the gravity of the fact that you just watched the craziest race in probably channel history sunk in on you, that's literally a 1 in 500 shot that it's going to be your race, and that's exactly what it is.
I told you all week how much preparation I've done and tried to be up to speed and everything, and turns out it doesn't even matter, and I couldn't have possibly been prepared for that. So, but that was a good time. It was something different. I kind of like you. I'm beside myself. I'd never seen anything like that. So.
Well, Matt Williamson doing burnouts for a 13th place finish, but unfortunately he has beat my whole team, so he now controls turn 200 officially. Congrats to him. I don't ever want to talk to him again. Let's get to your full finishing rundown after just the most fever dream race that has ever existed. We've literally run a full season of figure 8 racing, and I've never seen anything as absurd as that race. Oh my God. Hayden Palumbo wins. It's canon. He's going to get a trophy, and he's going to get an interview here in a minute. Brady Gunter will finish in second. Frank Sirachi will round out the podium. Jeremy McKinnon will finish in fourth. Andy Ducato in fifth. Chad Stearns in sixth. Garrett Rainey seventh. Brian Mitchell in eighth. Matt Schlosser, Zach Locke at the top 10. Kate Cannon, Josh Jackson, Matt Williamson, RJ Starcevic, and Kyle Zittel. Some level of laps down and or running or not running. I'm not 100% sure. Jack Watson 16th. Steve Roman 17th. Jordan Jorno, Andy Poliski, and Joshua Matichek the top 20. 21st for Tyler Berger, Brantley Gainey in 22nd, Cole Maxwell in 23rd, Austin Holyfield and John Kay, the top 25. Lucas Carver in 26th. It is Mark Ossier in 27th, Joshua Rutherford, Joshua Freed, Rob Williams, your top 30, Corey Rutherford and Gary Clark, early exits. After our first caution, and I guess we do need to go back and take a look at that final lap before we go any further in the program here. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of sorting for me to do this here. We might have to go all the way back just to that entire last run. I mean, that's literally 6 trucks behind the pace truck here.
That is a bit confusing, too, because so many of them are a lap down. It was difficult for me to tell who's lead lap, who's not. I knew Williamson wasn't, but... See, Chad Stearns, I think, missing that right front fender was big detriment to the aero on that truck. And Palumbo to the outside, and never see Chad again. Look at this run.
Look at that. McKinnon is absolutely hauling the mail.
Yeah.
I mean, he's completely unaided. But because, like you said earlier in this race, he took roof damage from the flip, but that was it. So he's actually able to get along pretty well. And I mean, it could have been over right there for Palumbo as he gets rooted out of line, doesn't get completely crossed up with Jackson. So then this is Williamson pushing Cade Cannon. McKinnon gets taken 3 wide by Schlosser and Stearns on the bottom. I mean, this track is so big and momentum swings so wildly. You can be in it and out of it and in it and out of it multiple times in the same lap here on the last lap. Palumbo gets cut a break there by Schlosser.
That was a huge break, too, because... Yep.
It gets Palumbo to the front bumper of Jeremy McKinnon, who will do anything it takes to get back to the front of the field at this point. Cannon then up to block. And I mean, that literally takes out every other lead lap truck. And Palumbo's off to the races after that. Who smashes in? Oh, it's Matt Schlosser. I thought somebody else hit too. Oh, God. Ouchie. Well, I don't even know. Let's just pull up your second place finisher here. Brody Gunter, how far back are you on this final restart? First of all, I don't even see the leaders in the shot.
They were on the horizon. I can tell you that much.
You were on the same track?
Yeah, they were there at some point. Man, this is the story of never give up.
I guess so. I mean, it seems like your team was just systematically targeted here this evening. Corey gets his own solo wiping out. Joshua gets taken out in a big one. And then you, under caution, get wiped out on the front stretch. I mean, that just...
Twice. I was wrecked twice, by the way. I don't know if you realize that.
I mean, honestly, at the end of the night, who wasn't wrecked twice? But, you know, you were at least running at the front of the field and then got wiped out. I mean... there's not even a good question to ask here. It's just, this is the craziest race that there has ever been, and you finished second.
Yeah, that's not what I thought I was going to finish. When I stopped my pit box, and it was like 9.5 after the second wreck. But yeah, I mean, rode around up front most of the time, which is taking very calm and, just buying my time, unlike I felt like everyone else in the field, maybe the other half of the field, who decided to just go, all crazy and just put a truck wherever a hole was, which caused most of those wrecks. But yeah, Corey was involved in the first wreck, Josh was involved in the second wreck, I was involved in the third wreck, fixed all 2.5 minutes of that wreck, got lucky that I just tapped 2 walls, and then, under caution got caused in another wreck, which really killed the truck, and just rode back in my own half of the racetrack until everyone in the front stretch died except Hayden.
Well, I guess, Nathan, good luck trying to find something to ask a question about, because that was pretty succinct.
Yeah, a bit speechless. What was your favorite wreck?
My favorite wreck? The ones I went in, which was very few.
Yeah, that makes
the last one,
sense.
then?
Yeah,
the last one that you got to drive by?
Well, I missed Andy dying, sadly. I mean, I missed the funeral and everything, but
yeah,
I heard about it.
he got a sea burial. I think he's still flying somewhere over Massachusetts. But
oh no.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, great day. Congrats on the podium. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a great day. It's a good way to describe this.
You got a runner-up finish. It was a great points day, I'm sure.
That's the only great thing about it.
Well, let's get some shout-outs in as if it were a good race then.
As it was a good race. I want to shout out CGI Graphics, Mutt Music Productions, sadly saying it make it tonight, but Sobe, everyone at Venom that I don't know, didn't wreck, didn't so all 0 of us. Congrats to all of them. To you guys for broadcasting this. Hope you had fun watching pace laps and people flipping into the air. I mean, I'm sure that was a lot of fun. Should have brought the iPacing truck out tonight. Made a mistake there. I didn't think this was going to be one of the probably more Wreckfest tracks. Thought it was going to be like a Talladega Daytona. Sadly, it was not. But we'll just try and get through it. Where do we go to? Vegas next week.
Yep.
So we'll look forward to that. Hopefully it's less of a Wreckfest than tonight. Oh, also, I guess shout out to the paint I'm running, Gio Ruggiero. Someone I race with in Legend cars. They're now in trucks. They've gotten 4 podiums in a row in the truck series right now. And I'm not going to say how they got to NASCAR because I don't want to swim with the fishes, but piece it together.
Shout out to Kyle Zittel's dad as well. All right, thanks for the time. And we'll have to talk to you at a normal race next week in Vegas.
Sure.
All right. Well, the second victory has come in dramatic fashion here tonight for Hayden Palumbo. It's a long overdue second career victory, but I mean, your name is going to be attached to this one, which is just we're still trying to process it up here. I mean, what are your thoughts after a wild one tonight?
Well, I mean, it's honestly, I don't know if y'all can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where I think at one point I was 2 laps down, riding around at 175 miles an hour by myself. Um, I was just like, well, I'm just gonna keep going. I mean, because they're wrecking. So when you wreck here, I mean, it wrecks a lot of people. I was like, there's a chance that I can at least get back on the lead lap and salvage something out of it. But yeah, I mean, it was fun.
it was definitely fun. I mean, on that final green white checkered, momentum swings. I mean, we saw you on the front foot and on the back foot just as quickly. I mean, with just the state of the field, I mean, how do you keep focused forward, even with very limited trucks around you? I mean, still things happen so quickly.
Well, I mean, obviously my goal, I mean, at that point was to win the race. Like just kind of do whatever it took. And I don't know if y'all saw it, but like out of, I guess it was turn 2, like I took a shot down the backstretch from Josh Jackson, and like I'm pretty sure I had the truck like completely sideways. I was all the way crossed up, and had to chase it through 3 and 4. I got a pretty good shot from him again down there in the corner, and that just kept my momentum up. As much my truck would only run maybe it'd probably run like 177, 178. If it wasn't being pushed. Being pushed, I mean, I could run with everybody. So my thing was is I knew that I had to be on on someone's nose, and then in I guess it was 1 and 2, I cleared Schlosser and got moved down on him, and then just kind of used that momentum, to get to the outside of I forget who it was there that was I guess I don't know if he was the second place truck or a lap truck or whatever it was, but I just used that momentum, and then Jeremy McKinnon just came to the rescue, and pushed me out, enough to make the 88 have to start making decisions on who he's going to stay with or try to block us. So I hate that he got up in front of me and but when you throw a late block like that, there's not much I can do, and I'm not lifting. So
No, it's the last lap for a win. I can't say anybody would blame me there. Nathan, what do you got for our race winner here?
Well, congrats on the victory. I think you're second, if I understand correctly.
Yep.
But Tommy and I were kind of laughing coming to the green-white checkered restart. We were comparing trucks, like the damage on the trucks, and whoa, he's missing a fender. Well, his back end's all smashed up. It was kind of trying to figure out maybe who would have the most speed based off the visual damage we could see. So it kind of made for like a interesting race, like the race to repair damage. So many accidents and carnage and chaos. How do you manage the repairs? And like you said, you're running 30 miles an hour off the pace at one point. Like, you kept yourself in it. How do you determine, all right, that's enough repairs, or I can still get it done, with just this amount repaired? What's your thought process behind that?
it was just just repair what I can. Pit stop, try to stay like on the lead lap. Obviously I was going to lose a lap just because of the so being so far off the pace, but fix what I could when I could pit, and not go 3, 4, 5 laps down, trying to fix it. I think when I first started that first initial wreck, it was like over 15 minutes worth of damage. And I think I had brought it down to like 12 and a half, like 13 minutes, something like that. Some pretty close calls, beating the pace car off the pit road, and just fix as much as you possibly can. And then obviously don't worry about tires, fill it full of gas, make sure you have plenty of gas, and then, beat the pace car off of pit road, and then just battle to stay on the lead lap, or, try to, do what you can do to be the lucky dog. And that's kind of, I guess, what kept me in it was, I guess, the grace of some guys taking a wave around, and then, which I guess forced me to the lucky dog, and then, being not in the wreck, to get the second lucky dog to get the last lap back. So yeah, it was just like I said, fixed minimum. Like I said, I knew that it would run in the draft. I just needed to be able to stay with a pack of cars. And once I got to that lead pack, I guess it was the restart. I don't believe it was the green white checkered. It was like maybe the one before. It was like, okay, I know this thing's got a chance if I can, get somewhere towards the front. I definitely thought I could make it work.
Well, I'd say it worked. With you getting the win here tonight, your second one here in the Venom Truck Series, man, it's been a long time coming as well. I know you've come close a few times. So good to get that second one, and onward and upward from the rest of the season as well. Great to have you back up here at the end of the night. Let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go celebrate.
Well, shout out you guys, Nathan. I'm gonna get on there and I guess and listen to. I'm sure you called a great race, but I guess welcome. I don't know if my mom and dad are watching. I was supposed to be refereeing football tonight, and I got done early. It was just a junior varsity game with an 8-minute quarter, so I squeaked in. I think the session was going to advance to qualifying like 30 seconds as I was coming into the lobby, so I just did make it into this race. But I don't know if they're watching though. But not really racing with a team. I guess my teammate, he just kind of bailed on the league, so it is what it is. But I've been working with the Insert Coin guys, and always welcome to work with Alabama Gang and those guys. So I'm still having fun though.
Well, it's a lot of fun to wind out a hectic night with a trip to Victory Lane. Congratulations. Go celebrate. Go party hard. And we'll hope to talk to you again next week in Vegas.
All right. We'll see you then.
Well, he's my boss now, but he's still a rat bastard. It's Matt Williamson in booth 200. Congratulations, I guess.
Yeah, how about that one? Certainly not the way I wanted it to go, but somehow it still happened. So here we are.
Well, you did exactly what I did last night, so I can't knock the hustle. Being a player, a decision maker at the front of the field, a couple laps down at the end of the race. I mean, you were working pretty well though, despite I would imagine minutes upon minutes of outstanding damage still to fix.
Yeah, when I don't even remember what lap it was on, but when I got wrecked, I had over 7 minutes of damage when I came down pit road, and it took me many times coming back down on the subsequent cautions just to get to, I think I had maybe a minute and 50 seconds of damage still to fix at the end. However, with the last wreck that we had, I was one of the best trucks out there somehow at the end of it. So, I mean, I was not planning to get into the middle of it, but just by happenstance and trucks not really being able to go, I found myself there. And I was pretty committed to just pushing Cade on the bottom, and he tried to throw that late block and then got turned right across my nose. So, that's how it goes.
All right, Nathan, do you have anything for the boss now?
Yeah, so you're running a lap down or more, final couple laps. So how do you manage, how do you decide who to push? How do you want to be in the mix of the lead trucks battling, or how do you, I've never been there, but how do you just, Tommy and I are both speechless. You missed a good one up here, but yeah, that's my question, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if there were 10 trucks that were all running well up there, it would have been different probably. I don't know if I would have necessarily put myself in the mix, but when I pulled up to the front stretch and realized there were literally 6 or 7 trucks just there at all, and then after the restart realizing only maybe 2 of them could carry as much speed as I could, I mean, that kind of made the decision for me. I was going to go with Hayden, and then I don't know if it was somebody with a lot of damage got caught up on the top and we got stuck behind him, so I ended up moving. That's why I moved down, and then after that I was just kind of there. So there was really no decision, I guess. It just kind of happened. So yeah, it
so
was what it was, I suppose.
Let's be clear about why you're coming on after the race winner, not to diminish Hayden Palumbo here, but the original goal of tonight was for you and I to both race together on track. Circumstances required at least one of us to be up in the booth this evening, so I sent all my lackeys against you. You beat them. You beat RJ by, I think, 2 laps. So that was good enough, as he was the closest competitor. Everybody else exploded. So you you've won. Now you have control of the team and the channel, therefore. So, I mean, what changes are you going to make as my boss now?
Wow, I didn't realize that I got control of the channel.
Oh, all the chips were pushed in tonight.
Wow, this was quite the race to have all the chips pushed in for that kind of a finish. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think maybe Team 200 just ceases to exist. I think it's just Team 199 now.
Wow.
As far as the as far as the team that will run in Venom, the Venom Truck Series. As far as the channel goes, I don't know. Maybe we'll do some new branding. Maybe I'll just replace you with Nathan from here on out.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that one. This gave me a headache.
Oh Lord. Well, yeah. We'll contracts and such. We'll have to hash that out. But yeah, I would say you can get your thank yous in, but you didn't get a podium, so you don't get that. But you do get to close out the broadcast with us here tonight. But yeah, let's. I don't know, Nathan. Anything you want to say to put a bow on this night? I know it was wild, and also your first time in the booth. But any thoughts to close out the night?
None particularly. I think I want to shout out the drivers who probably had the fewest incident points. I know Schlosser, he drove through a lot of those wrecks, and then the whole explosion on the front stretch, he finally got caught up in wrecks at the end, but it was impressive seeing him and a lot of other guys just kind of maneuver their way through the field and all the carnage. So it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a heck of a race for my first one in the booth, but that's made some good memories. So appreciate you guys having me up here and let me do this. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, partner. We'll look forward to doing it again sometime down the road. But in the meantime, we'll thank the folks that were hanging out with us here tonight. They got treated to an interesting one, that's for sure. Shout out to the Modachecks as always, Bailey and Robin. Shout out to Don Golden, to RJ Starcivic, Joshua Rutherford, Eric Breeding was here, Parker Donaldson, Zach Magris was here as well, Lisa Carroll, Rob Williams checked in, so did Chris Sargent, Tyler Bergert, and I think that was everybody. If I missed you, I apologize, and if you were just hanging out with us here tonight, not chatting, we appreciate you as well. We got some more action coming up for you this week. Circuit Villeneuve tomorrow night for the Daredevil Series. That'll be the debut at Montreal at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the Daredevils. Thursday night, we'll see Mr. Nathan Carroll back in action, this time at Chicagoland in our neck of the woods. We'll catch you at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Venom Truck Series will be back to their regularly scheduled, hopefully less chaotic programming next week at Las Vegas at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time to send them into the All-Star break. That's all we got for you here tonight. Thanks to the Venom admin team, who will certainly have a lot to do. And thank you to the Booth Boys, as always. Thanks to Matt Williamson, and thank you to Nathan Carroll here this evening. That's all we got for you here tonight. Here on Turn 200 for the Venom Truck Series. Until we meet again from iRacing Super Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Hayden Palumbo for his second career Venom Truck Series victory in an absolute classic. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.